Ready?
Okay, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, the public hearing on the proposed property tax levy for the village will come to order. This is a public hearing designed to allow for public comment scheduled for 6:45, Monday, December 16th, 2024. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Maxham, Commissioner Nero,
Here.
Commissioner Mellon Rogovin,
Here.
Commissioner Vogt, Mayor Hoskins.
Here. Okay, I think at least one person has asked that they have a comment read into the record.
Yes, well, I have one that was emailed to me and I have one in person. Dan, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your last name. Bjornen? Bjornson. Okay. You can come up.
Anyway, but I just want you to hear one person's view, and that is, I believe that you guys can do other things besides raise taxes to manage the budgets. That's what I believe. Whether it's, I presume if that means you have to reduce services, or if you have to, however you do that, I just need you to hear my voice. That's all I had to say. Don't raise my taxes.
Thank you, Dan.
Then I have this emailed comment from Christopher Harris. Commissioners and Honorable Mayor, each year you are provided the opportunity to offer some fiscal relief to residents by opting not to increase the property tax levy. Arguments that if the village doesn't accept the increase, another taxing body will receive the share was a frequent mantra of a past administrator. That argument is false. With that, I ask you to side with struggling residents who are constantly bombarded with an increased cost of living and vote no for the levy increase. Thank you. For the tax levy or for the meeting? No.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to comment on the tax levy? We'll wait a couple minutes in case anyone shows up who wants to comment on the tax levy. If no one wants to comment on the tax levy, and if no one's here for that tax levy hearing, it doesn't appear that anyone is here to comment. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Melvin Ragovan. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Commissioner Maxham. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxham. Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Rogovan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt. Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. This concludes the meeting on the statutorily required hearing for the tax levy. We'll resume for the regular council meeting at 7 p.m. Okay, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, the regular meeting of the Village Council of Forest Park will come to order. This is our Monday, December 16th, 2024 meeting. And we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you are able, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Maxam? Commissioner Nero?
Here.
Commissioner Mellon Rogovan?
Here.
Commissioner Vogt? Here. Mayor Hoskins?
Here. Okay, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the November 25, 2024 regular meeting of the council? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second?
Harold, second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam? Commissioner Nero? Commissioner Mellon Rogovan?
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt? Aye. Mayor Hoskins?
Aye. Okay, we're at public comment.
Thomas Kovac? This one here.
I wish to comment tonight on two pending items. One is the proposed change to the residential zoning code, and also the early work on a future comprehensive plan. Recently, I received a FOIA response from the village. I was requesting information on how the chart in the new proposed zoning code was developed. I received nothing to explain anything in the contents of that chart. It was presented to the Plan Commission by the consulting firm, whose name I cannot think of off the top of my head. I was denied access to all of the work that they did in developing that grid. Everything. I have nothing. And there is nothing in the records of the Plan Commission meeting that gave any indication that they did anything with this grid except simply accept it. That's it. Unlike what was said in the Forest Park Review, there was no comprehensive vetting of this. There was nothing. What is proposed, it's completely contradictory in and of itself between Mr. Glinke's comments to the mayor in a memo and other remarks that are made, and what is in the zoning map and what is the reality on the ground of buildings that exist. These parts do not fit. The proposed to allow in an R3 district multifamily dwellings. That means it doesn't have to have a ground floor, or it can have multiple floors. The current code only allows structures that have a ground floor. Well, the benefit of that is on our far north side, we do not have high rises now. We have a lot of townhomes. We had a lot of conversion from former light industrial areas to townhouse development. It has worked quite well. I think part of the problem is that people don't fully understand what structures are in these areas and the code can be confusing. We need to identify by property number every single property in each residential district, so we have a clear understanding of what is there, not this colored map. We also need to clearly differentiate between, let's say, a duplex and these single families that were jerry-rigged into 2 or 3 family structures. I have 2 of such structures behind me across the alley and back of my house. With regard to nonconformity, we do not need to allow those kind of structures to be newly built going forward. My single-family dwelling, in 1998, they changed the.
Mr.
code.
Kovacs, you get 3 minutes. You're over 3 minutes, so please wrap it up.
All right, try and wrap it up. We need to identify every single property by property number, clearly identify what these are. Before we go forward with changing the code, before we have a new comprehensive plan, let's have a precise quantitative control list of what is what.
Thank you, Mr. Kovacs. Okay, there are no more public comments registered for tonight. Commissioners, there are no formal communications in front of the council this evening. There was one department report from the fire department. I believe everyone has had a chance to review the fire department report. If there are any comments, feedback, you're welcome to express that now. Okay, we're at bills by resolution. Madam Clerk, whenever you're ready.
Be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Forest Park, Cook County, Illinois, that we dispense with the reading of the individual bills inasmuch as each department head has approved and signed bills in the following aggregate amount for their respective departments. Refunds and allocations, $6,755.16. Public Affairs, $274,516.75. Police Department, $2,319.02. Community Center, $7,815.03. Accounts and Finance Clerk's Office, $838,009.60. Accounts and Finance Fire Department, $4,021.59. Department of Health and Safety, $16,750.29. Streets and Public Improvements, $90,237.49. Public Property, $50,637.93. Seizure, $787.46. Federal Customs, $33,068.81. TIF, $356,014.04. VIP, $155,478.96. Water Department, $353,599.15, for a total of $2,190,011.28.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, is there a motion to adopt the resolution on the bills? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxam. Is there a second?
Nero, second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam, Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Rogovin,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-113-24.
Okay, moving down to new business, the first item is a presentation by Burke Engineering. This is going to be an update on the 3-year infrastructure plan. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor.
You need to speak louder, Jim. Or turn the microphone, one or the other.
There we go. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board, for the opportunity to present. One of my favorite evenings, talking about infrastructure. Before I forget, I'm going to say all the thank yous now, because at the end, I just like to answer questions. Thank you to Commissioner Mellon Rogovin for assistance on this. Thank you to Village Administrator Entler, and thank you to Public Works Director Stella for their involvement on the 3-year plan. As you had mentioned, this is an update as the plan had started in 2024. We're obviously entering into 2025, so this is a quick recap on what we did for the first year, 2024, what we're planning on doing for 2025, and a little forecast for 2026. So we'll go over that. I'll talk about our roadway assessment, our alley assessment, and our proposed balance of the 3-year plan, so years 2 and years 3. So as I had mentioned, this is a culmination of input from the village engineer, Public Works Director, Administrator, and Commissioner. We had developed this last year, and we are giving you an update now. We'll run through some slides about what has changed in year one. So we'll start with that. This is the north side. This is what was originally envisioned for the 3-year plan. All the stuff that is boxed and called out are the revisions. So starting with the legend, the years 2024 are in red, 2025 are orange, and then yellow is 2026. So what happened, as I said, we'll start on the left side, is Van Buren Street. We were intending on doing a side path last year, but that due to some delays with ComEd relocating their facilities, we're pushing that to 2025. The other modification was Monroe Street was originally envisioned for 2025, and that we're going to move to 2026. We also had Ferdinand Avenue and Marengo. Both of those were originally envisioned as just the 400 blocks, so we're going to extend those to the 400 and 500 blocks. Some of you might already say Ferdinand is already under construction, which it is. So that'll kind of straddle this current year and be wrapped up next year, and that Ferdinand is water main and then resurfacing. Same thing with Marengo, and we had originally had Elgin planned for 2024. As we got involved into that in a little bit more of a detailed design, we became aware that there are a lot of houses along Harlem that are fed off of the water main on Elgin. So to properly design that, we would want to put a new water main in on Harlem, which would effectively double the cost. And there's also some logistic concerns since Harlem is a state route. So rather than tackle that last year, we decided to pull that, and we'll come back and circle around to that at a future date and put some water main along there. That's the north side. On the south side, we were fortunate to get a green alley funding from MWRD. So at the top of the screen, you'll see there's a big orange T. So that's adding a green alley, and that'll be constructed next year, 2025. We also moved the alley between Lathrop and Ferdinand just south of Fillmore, pushed that back year to 2026 as that was originally in 2025. And then at the bottom of the screen, you have that project along 13th Street, which is a grant-funded sewer separation job. We are envisioning, and we're optimistic, everybody cross their fingers, that we get some funding for that. And if we do, that would be in 2026. So that is just kind of the first year, and I'll dive into what we're planning on doing here in a couple of slides. So the roadway assessment, as we did originally, we kind of updated this. Quick exhibit, good is green, light green is average, fair yellow, orange poor, and then the hatched red would be something that's under construction. So this is the north side of the town in a snapshot as far as pavement condition. And we have the same for the south side. So all the same information shown there. We did the same assessment for the alleys. It was a little bit simpler as they were either really good or really old. The alleys in the last couple of decades, we've been reconstructing them with a inverted crown. So the middle of the alley is lower than the edges. So all the water drains to the middle and keeps the water away from the garages. It also makes the cost of replacing it slightly cheaper, and that you're just putting a sewer down the middle as opposed to on either side. So you'll see here, out of the alleys in town, there's 103 that have been reconstructed in the last 25 years or so. And there's about 15 or 16 that have not, and that we're still working on addressing them. In the big red circles or boxes, those are areas that are CDBG eligible. CDBG is Community Development Block Grant funded by Cook County. And so have that indicated on here is that's often a spot where we go ahead and request funding for alley replacement. So this is the same exhibit just for the south side. And now on to our proposed updated infrastructure plan. So this has all the updated colors on here. So for 2025, on the north side, we're looking at Van Buren Street. We're looking at the 400, 500 block of Ferdinand, that's water main and resurfacing. And then same thing with Marengo, 400 and 500 block, water main and resurfacing. South side of town for 2025, we have that green alley. And then we also have, you'll see there's two big shapes there. There's the big shape in blue, both the U and then the little square in the corner. That's the IEPA funded lead service line replacement. So we're trying to address houses that have lead services and replace them. We are getting principal forgiveness or grant money from IEPA for that. So stage one is the blue stage, and we're currently in the process of awarding that contract to Joel Kennedy Constructing. And stage two would be the purple shaded areas, and we're looking at going out to bid for that in the next several months so that we can get that work underway as well. I'm sure some residents have received notices that this work is coming and asking for their assistance and taking some pictures and signing waivers to allow this work to get facilitated. So if you get those, please respond to them because we're trying to get all the lead out in town as fast as possible. Yep.
That U shape, why are those streets in there not included?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. So working with the water department and with the public works director, we had kind of come up with a approach to how we were going to address the lead services. You essentially have two different types of lead services in town. Ones that are lead all the way from the main into the house, so that we would call that a full lead service. And then we have several that are partials in that sometime in the last 40 years, the water main itself was replaced and a copper service was placed from the main to the B-Bots or to the parkway. So those partial ones, you would just be replacing lead from the B-Bots or parkway into the house. Those are a lot easier to do. You don't have to dig up the roadway. You're not doing the road patch, and you're not tying into an older main. So our approach was to start with the easy ones, the partials, and that just so happened that that section of Marengo, 8, 9, 10, 100 blocks have already been, that those require full lead replacement. So we're holding off. We're going to come back to those ones, in several years. At some point, we can come back to the board with our overall plan as we are putting together a 10-year plan to address all of those lead services. This being year one and year two, we're kind of just taking the easy services that we can get and using as much of the IEPA funding that we can obtain, getting that out on the street as soon as possible. Any questions on the lead services before I move on? Okay. So I have some totals here. I'm not going to read through all these numbers, but this table shows what was generally completed in 2024, all the total project costs, which funds they had come out of, the VIP fund, water fund, TIF fund, grant funds. So rather than read off all the projects that were done, I'll just give you the summary. For the entire year, we had approximately 1.85 million of total expenditures, of which about 780K came out of VIP, a little over 100,000 out of the water fund, 275 out of the TIF fund, specifically the Roosevelt TIF, and then $700,000 out of various grant funds. So some of those were IEPA water supply, ITEP for the commuter bike facilities, and we also received some funding from MWRD. So now on to what everybody's been waiting for, our proposed 2025 plan and the dollars associated with that. So I'll read this with a little bit more detail. The first line is the Ferdinand Avenue water main and resurfacing. So it's Madison to Jackson, 1.5 million of total project cost, 280K coming out of MFT funds, a little over $1 million coming out of the water fund, and we're getting 305,000 of Rebuild Illinois Bond Fund. This is the last year that we can use that fund, and that would expend all of the rebuild bond funds that had been received by the village. So we have to use them, and this is a good project that fits that. Next project I have on the list is the IEPA lead service inventory. There's no image on the exhibit because this is just an inventory, some of the paperwork, and as Commissioner had asked, this will help develop that 10-year plan or 10-year plus plan to phase out all of the lead in the village. And we are fortunate to get IEPA to fund that entirely, so that was $40,000, which is all covered by IEPA. Then I have stages 1 and stage 2 of the lead service project, which we talked about a little bit. Stage 1 is 2.2 million and stage 2 is 3 million. Very fortunate to get those funds. Next project I have on the list is the Van Buren Street multi-use path. 773,000 is the estimated total project cost. We have a little over 500,000 coming out of VIP, and we had about 250,000 coming from a Invest in Cook grant application. Moving swiftly along the Green Alley, which is the 800 block below 8 Thomas. That's a little over $750,000. Some of that's coming out of the VIP fund, and 300,000 would be coming from MWD funding. That's their GI or green infrastructure, which is why we're putting the brick pavers down the middle of that to help water infiltrate back into the soils. Following that, we have the annual sidewalk program. That's various locations throughout the village. We're estimating about 58,000 for that. Then we have the Jackson Water Reservoir repairs, doing a feasibility study on what to do about the water reservoir under and adjacent to the community center. So we have about 228,000 coming out of the water fund for that. And we will be looking at future funding or funding for the future stages. I have the Jackson resurfacing and water main that goes from Des Plaines to Harlem. We are fortunate to get ITEP funding for that. So 2025 will be doing the design. The design is funded locally. So 230,000 for the design out of the water fund, and 50 of that comes out of the VIP for a total of 280. That also includes cleaning and televising the sewers in that area so that we can include any deteriorated sewer repairs within the project. The next line I have there is the BNRWC connection, which for those of you that don't know that acronym, it's the Brookfield North Riverside Water Commission. As part of the conversation about the water reservoir, we wanted to leave a placeholder here about potential connections for where we're getting our water from. Right now, we get our water from City of Chicago via a water main running along Jackson Boulevard. That water main has been in there for sale, correct me if I'm wrong, 100 years. So as we know, at some point that will need either some repair or to be replaced. Another option to repair or replacing it would be to buy into the Brookfield North Riverside Water Commission and have them supply us water. All that water is coming from the same spot, from the big lake. But that would be a way for the pipes already in the ground, and we can more easily connect to them and just pay a fee to get water from them. So we have that in there as a placeholder, depending on how the board likes to proceed. That could be a conversation that's had in the next several years. And then last but not least, I have the 400 and 500 block of Marengo water main and resurfacing, if that fits within the village's budget. And that would be partially funded by MFT funds and water funds, so about $750K of MFT and a little over $1 million of water funds. A lot of numbers there, and I apologize for that, but so 2026, I won't go through all the same details since this is 1 year out, but just in a nutshell, we do have a significantly larger estimated 2026, 15.9 million, but a lot of that is grant funds. As you'll see across the board there, we got 2.8 coming out of VIP, 1.8 million coming out of MFT, 4.7 of water fund, and 6.4 million out of various grant funds. And I do want to give this slide a huge caveat. The last 4 projects on there are grant or funding applications that we are preparing for. So specifically, that's lead service stage 3, IEPA green infrastructure grant opportunity, which is Constitution Court doing a permeable paver lot there. Another green alley, 600 and 800 blocks of Thomas Hanna, and that 13th Street sewer separation. So all 4 of those projects are projects that staff, we've identified. We are either preparing applications for or already have submitted, but by the time we hear back from them, those would be constructed in 2026. So we have placeholders if we're fortunate to get funding to do those jobs. So that's it. That's why I start with the thank yous at the beginning, now that I've rambled on for a while. That's our entire presentation. We're looking for some direction from the board to continue to move forward with this, or if there's some tweaks. As I always say, this is, not set in stone. This is a living document as things change, as new projects come up, or as funding varies. Obviously, we're going to switch courses as needed and as directed by the board. So with that, Mayor, I'll turn it over to you for any questions or comments.
Commissioners, any questions for Jim?
Jim, I just wanted to say thank you very much for the excellent service that you and your team provide the village. You've been an excellent partner to our village staff and to our Department of Public Works. I think, as we developed this infrastructure plan, it continues to be a very useful working document, and it's allowed for us to make very strategic investments in the infrastructure of the village. We did in fact make good decisions as we went forward, but I just wanted to highlight for my colleagues and for residents that we are prioritizing, important needs in infrastructure, but also infrastructure needs that address village resident concerns, including permeable paving, the idea of, obviously legislative mandates like lead service, but also, the street sewer separation that we have in year 3, which obviously we have that there. That's those infrastructure investments that this council has long invested in are things that help us manage flooding and long-term things like that. So these are things that sound official on paper, but really do help us as a village become more environmentally sustainable and promote strategies that are of concern to our residents. So thank you very much for the work that you're doing and for this plan, which, and I will also highlight, does use our resources as wisely as possible, and we're going to continue to focus on grant funding as much as possible too.
Thank you, Commissioner Mellon McGovern. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
All right, Commissioners, next item under new business, the chair will entertain a motion for an ordinance waiving the bid and authorizing the acceptance and execution of a standard form of construction management for design build project by and between Verigy LLC and the Village of Forest Park. Is there a motion?
Sorry.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon McGovern. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Rogoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is ordinance O-40-24.
Okay, Commissioners, next item is the annual tax levy ordinance for the village for fiscal year beginning May 1, 2024, and ending April 30, 2025. Is there a motion? It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Nero.
Let's see here. So I've been a resident in this town for like 23 years now. Sat on this council for about 6. And this tax levy comes about every single year. And for the last 5 years, I've always said, check the box, you know. We as a village, we run at a deficit, right? We are always struggling to find ways to do more with less. And I don't disagree. I think there are ways to, as I sat here tonight, I think there are ways, and some of which at the end of this meeting, I'll talk about in terms of ways to generate and ways that we will be generating more revenue with the direction of the Village of Forest Park. And I'll be excited, on a more positive note, to talk about those, like I said, in my commissioner report. But I'm going to throw some context at you because I'm going to swim out on the island tonight for this one. And I'm going to tell you that I don't know if you know, but maybe you know, but your tax bill, our tax bill, I pay taxes here too. I didn't know if maybe you knew that almost 74% of your tax bill, or, you know, I mean, that's a big chunk, right? 74% of your tax bill goes to schools, goes to our two school districts, Park District and the library, okay? Of that, 100%, how much do you think the Village of Forest Park gets to operate our police and our fire departments and run this village and public works and do everything that we do? I'll tell you, it's less than 14%. So you need to think about that. I do not think, as I sit here, that this is a tax levy problem, but someone's got to stand up and swim out there and say, I don't know who or how, but I think it's a tax appropriation problem. And that might be wildly unpopular, but so be it. At the end of the day, 61 or 62% of our tax bill goes to those school systems. And I'm not going to sit up here and sling mud. But y'all got a computer, most of you do. You could Google District 209 and tell me what you think, or just go ahead and read the top headlines, okay? I mean, lowest performing, performing at or below the lowest performing 5% of the schools, at a surplus. Someone's got to say it. So, you know, I'm tired of paying taxes too, but we all got to pay it. But because of those reasons, and moving forward, I'm a no vote this year. Thank you.
Any other discussion, Commissioners?
I will comment after that. I agree with my colleagues' math. I don't agree with my colleague's conclusion. So our vote here today is to assess or to allow the Village of Forest Park to participate in the tax assessment process for the Village of Forest Park. Each entity has a vote like this to permit them to participate and assess their portion of taxes that appears on our property tax bill. And I would encourage residents to participate in the democratic process to talk to the entities that do that for the elements that appear on your property tax bill and ask them why they continue to raise your taxes. As a Forest Park resident, receiving the services that you receive from the village for the percentage of taxes that you are assessed, which is a very small percentage of that total tax bill. I believe that Forest Park residents are well-served. And I say this also as being a long-term resident in Forest Park, having difficulty, with the taxes that we are assessed in Cook County. So I want to say that I also am very stressed about the property tax system. And I'm very concerned about the residents in Forest Park that are finding the property taxes more difficult to pay each year. And I am continually engaged in the process of advocating for those residents within the system that exists to talk about how can we talk to the assessor's office. How can residents, and I educate residents about, here's how you lower your taxes, here's who to talk to. Because I'm very sympathetic. And I'm not only sympathetic, I understand it's a difficult time economically. I'm crunched as well. But my vote is representing Forest Park's participation in this process, not the school district, not other entities. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm saying that we are stretched to the bone. We have people here who are doing multiple jobs because we are making very efficient choices about how to serve you as residents. And we will continue to make those very efficient, effective choices. And please talk to me if you think that you need help paying your taxes, and I will continue to advocate for you. But that's my thought on the process, and that's my comment today.
Thank you, Commissioner Mellon Rogovan. Commissioner Maxim.
So I originally didn't have a comment, but now I do. I thought, Commissioner Nero, what you said is very interesting, and I don't disagree with you. But I don't think we're voting today on how the taxes are appropriated. I think that's a really interesting question, and I don't know who decides that. But if you have more information on that or want to discuss that further, I'd be very interested. I do think there could be a lot of room for changes in that. I am confident that the village's share, however small it is being used wisely and is necessary for us to operate this village, to fund our pensions as well as we can. I agree with Commissioner Mellon Rogovan, we're stretched really thin. So I'm voting yes on that for tonight, but also I'm very open to a larger discussion about appropriation of property taxes in general.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxim. All right, if there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Maxim,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero.
Nope.
Commissioner Mellon Rogovan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is ordinance O-41-24.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, next item is resolution directing the county clerk to calculate separate limiting rates for the tax levy year 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Mellon Rogovan. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Rogovan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is resolution R-114-24.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a First Amendment to a master software licensing agreement between Dacra Tech LLC and the Village of Forest Park. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second?
Nero, second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-115-24.
Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an application for an Assistance to Firefighters grant with the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxam. Is there a second?
Nero, second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam,
Aye.
Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt, Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-116-24.
Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving the 2025 paratransit service provider agreement between PACE, the Suburban Transit Authority, and the Village of Forest Park. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragoven. Is there a second? Okay, it's seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Maxam, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt, Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-117-24.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Forest Park and Cook County. This is for the construction and design of one electric vehicle charging station. Is there a motion?
Make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Vogt. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Mellon Ragoven. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-118-24.
All right, Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the village and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago for a Green Alley project. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragoven. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion. All right, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-119-24.
All right, Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving change order number 2 to the contract and pay request to T Corp for the rehabilitation of the south water tank at 1580 South Hannah. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragoven. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-120-24.
Commissioner, next item is a resolution approving pay request number 1 for the Roosevelt Island Removal and Landscaping Project to Triggy Construction, Inc. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragoven. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxam, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-121-24.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, the next item is a resolution authorizing the approval of pay request number 1 for the 2024 water main replacement project to Boulder, Boulder Contractors. This is for the 400 and 500 blocks of Ferdinand. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragovan. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Ragovan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-122-24.
Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving pay request number 1 for the 2024 sidewalk improvement project to Narduli Construction. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragovan. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? All right, there's no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Ragovan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R-123-24.
All right, Commissioners, next item is a motion seeking the council's ratification of a raffle license request to the Forest Park Community Center. This had to do with the annual toy drive. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion. Okay, there's no discussion, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Ragovan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. All right, Commissioners, the final item under new business for this evening is a motion to approve a request for participation in the vehicle sticker registration donation request for calendar year 2025. The beneficiaries would be Empowering Gardens and the Forest Park Cares Fund. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second?
Nero, second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion?
I just wanted to mention, thank you, that the Forest Park Cares Fund is a fund through the Forest Park Public Library, and it's been serving our community for a year and a half now to provide items for people who visit the library who are unhoused or in need of services like the ability to make phone calls or transportation services. The library also has care closet for seasonal needs, et cetera. And it's a great program that's been very helpful for our librarians who are often stretched thin. And it's been very helpful. Housing Forward has actually really commends our library for the services they provide to the unhoused who come off the L and seek a warm location for a few moments and get a snack. The Forest Park Cares Fund supports our librarians and allows them to provide something to those folks while continuing to serve our community. So that's, if you don't know what the Forest Park Cares Fund is, that's what it is. And of course, our Empowering Gardens is a wonderful organization as well.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragovan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt, Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Okay, Commissioners, that concludes our new business for this evening. We are at Administrator's Report.
I'm going to keep this short because in 2025, I'm going to have a little bit more to say. But I just want to thank everybody. December marks my 12th month as the permanent village administrator. And so I just want to thank the village council for giving me the opportunity the last year. I'm really looking forward to working again with staff and the village council in the year 2025. And being that this is our last council meeting of the year, I just want to say happy holidays and happy new year to everybody out there in Zoom world and here in the council chambers. Thanks.
Thank you. Village Administrator Etler, Commissioner Maxim.
Yeah, I just have a few things. The fire department, Union Local 2753 is doing a fill the truck food drive until December 24th and collecting non-perishable foods and items that can be dropped off at the Forest Park Fire Department, or monetary donations are welcome. And it is going to the Village of Forest Park Community Food Pantry. So the food pantry gives food out year-round to people in need, and they do a really great job of that. So if you have some time and would like to contribute, stop by the firehouse. I want to give a shout out again to the clerk's office, down a person temporarily, and everyone's working really, really hard, especially at year end, to get stuff done. So again, it's does not go unnoticed. Tish, I'm looking at you, but also Vanessa and everybody else. I want to also give a shout out. I did this last year too, to two residents, John Cunningham and Rob Saul. So they started this, I forget what it's called, Light Up Forest Park, and it's phenomenal. So when you're driving down the Forest Park streets, particularly on the south side, I think has a lot more, kind of like mid Forest Park. It's the trees along the parkway that are decorated and lit up, and they are absolutely gorgeous. And then they've been helping residents, get the lights up. And then they hosted a sort of hot chocolate thing last night where we met up at the corner over by where Edsway used to be. And they had hot chocolate and cookies and treats and stuff like that. And it's just, it's beautiful. I lived in Forest Park for a very, very long time, and I've never seen it look so beautiful during the holiday season as it has in the past 2 years, thanks to them. So I just want to give a shout out to them. And finally, since it is the last meeting, I want to say Happy New Year's, and whatever holiday you celebrate at this time of the year, I want to say happy holidays to everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxim. Commissioner Nero.
Yes, sir. So I thought about this, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of do a wrap up and kind of glue together some of my comments earlier with what has been going on in the Public Health and Safety Department during 2024. So it was a busy year, right? Many commercial and residential projects have worked with the department to improve the Village of Forest Park, and we're going to talk about those. That includes permitting, inspection, licensing, and in most cases, the Department of Public Health and Safety is the first face that these folks see when they come to Forest Park. Consequently, when it comes time to get your occupancy, they're the last face to see. So that says a lot about the staff and their willingness to represent the village in a positive way and help to ensure that Forest Park is easy to do business with. So let's talk about some things here. So I'm not very techie. You wouldn't know that if you drove by the house, but I'm telling you, there's two new software programs that we have implemented within the Public Health and Safety Department for project tracking. And I'm going to machine gun some of the projects that have come through the office, like I said, from permitting through licensing inspection, all while implementing two new software programs. So kudos to the department there. Play It Again Sports, the new addition, two new additions, really. They expanded that business. That is a homegrown business that started out a few years ago and took over the Hallmark, and then it expanded the back to include batting cages and training and coaching, which is fantastic. In the Midwest, you can't get enough indoor facilities for kids to work out in. Meat counter at Old Bertuga is opening. Fiora reopening. Fiore has been closed for walk-in and sit-down business, but they are supposed to be reopening here by the end of the week. That's great news from sales tax revenue standpoint, especially down in the downtown business district. Roberts West Side's certainly been a welcome addition from the art standpoint with music. Mayor hosted his toy drive there. I've been there many times myself. Babs' Comedy Club also supports the arts with her business there, all new in 2024. Divino just opened up on Harlem Avenue. Again, another source of sales tax revenue there. The Espresso Cafe in Beloit and Roosevelt. U3 Coffee next to the dispensary. What dispensary? Parkway Dispensary, the first one to open in Forest Park. And yes, another source for sales tax revenue here in Forest Park that we didn't have before. What's the big one on Harlem Avenue that everyone's been talking about? Aldi. Aldi's parking lot has been stuffed. It has been a fantastic addition to not only Forest Park, but the surrounding community. And again, big sales tax revenue there. So you're getting the message here. Not sure if you've been drove down Des Plaines and Roosevelt, but Hawk Auto with all of their upgrades and facelifts is very near to opening back up. U-Haul is under construction. And then we could talk about Circle Plaza, right? The kind of gateway from the north side of town has gone through a complete facelift. They redone the asphalt paving there, the islands, lighting, the facades. Not only did the new structure at CVS get an upgrade for Block Cannabis and the new businesses that are going to jump in there, but also Pep Boys and Dunkin' Donuts. So if you remember what that looked like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, drive by it now. It looks much different. And the $375,000 that was inserted into the Starbucks remodel on Madison Street as well. Also a good source of tax revenue for the Village of Forest Park. There's also some of my least favorite, or the distressed properties, should be my favorite, but for many, many years, they were my least favorite distressed properties, especially on Adams, 7201 and 7203. If you remember those two right off of Harlem Avenue, they've been they sat vacant for years, and they've been a problem with squatters, and from time to time, not only do our first responders, but I know our public health and safety department have to respond there, but no longer, because now those are going to be make new families, bring in new families, and they'll be able to have special moments in those two new properties, which is exactly what we want to do here. 7300 Harvard had a gut rehab, which is another opportunity for us to bring new families into Forest Park. 2 townhome projects, Edsway and Washington Boulevard. 3 new construction single-family dwellings. Yes, love single-family homes. Think it's great for the neighborhood. Sad but good. The American Legion deconversion, although sad to see the American Legion go, sir. But nice to see that we had a buyer that's willing to invest in that property and deconvert it into a single-family home, so turn it into something positive. There is 2 new projects that are going to enhance our neighborhood in 2025, and we're excited about them. They're in the works for consideration, should I say, and I think all of which, or both of which, will again add to that sales tax revenue. I do want to say, not tonight, Sal. Tonight, I want to thank Tish. Tish, you work tirelessly in our finance department as the director of finance, and I truly do appreciate it. I can't tell you how many times I see you burning the midline oil there. I appreciate your work on the agenda tonight, and I appreciate the conversations and education that you've given me over the years that I've worked here. And with that, I'd like to say a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Rogovan.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Commissioner Nero. It is exciting to see all of the new businesses and changes happening in Forest Park, especially over the last year. I just wanted to share a couple of things that have been exciting. We had a wonderful Operation Rising Spirit, couple of events, and we sent off 795 cards from several events that we had in Forest Park. Wanted to thank again the scouts from Scouts from Troop 109, Forest Park Middle School, the Senior Circle from the Forest Park Library, Dive Bar Letter Writers, and the Historical Society of Forest Park. We learned from the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs that Forest Park provided 30% of the total cards that the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs gathered from Operation Rising Spirit. So I thought that was a really nice contribution from the Village of Forest Park. I participated in the sneaker ball at the Forest Park Middle School, and I discovered just how old I am. But it was nice to support our middle schoolers and learn that the Macarena is still is still in. And I just wanted to comment to thank the chamber, the village, and our residents about the number of holiday events the last couple of, the last week or two. The holiday walk was beautiful, holiday lunch, the toy drive, and I've been inspired to see the number of ways that residents have come together to celebrate and honor and support our community in a number of ways, to be there for people who need us, and to honor our community and to celebrate. I wanted to highlight that the point in time count for homelessness sponsored by the Alliance for Homelessness is coming up in January, and I've signed up if you're interested in helping. This is an overnight count to secure funding from the Housing and Urban Development HUD. And it's January 29th from on the west side. They need more volunteers. If you're interested, let me know. And again, now that we're at the end of the year, I just wanted to thank the Traffic and Safety Commission, citizen volunteers who help Public Works do our work and listen to citizens and what they're concerned about with regard to traffic safety in our village, and other citizens who volunteer to help our village do the work that we do. Our village staff, and all the folks in our village who make our village work. And it's a pleasure to work with you all year long, and my colleagues. And I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday season, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the coming year.
Thank you, Commissioner Mellon Rogovan. Commissioner Vogt.
Yeah, thanks. I suppose in years past, I've done a big year-end review and highlighted all of the things that we've accomplished, but this year is my gift to you. I will skip the big, long list, and because it is a long list. We get a lot done every year, despite our shoestring budget and all of our challenges. And I'm just going to skip to the end and echo the sentiments of my fellow commissioners and just thank all of you. Sal, Tish, Lindsay, Chief Gross back there, I think I see you. Everyone who's not here, Administrator Entler, and all of you. And, you know, everyone who volunteers and who comes here to these meetings and watches online, and just everyone who's a part of the village. I just want to go ahead and say thank you and wish you all a very happy, healthy, safe holiday season and a happy new year.
Thank you, Commissioner Vogt. Commissioners, please mark February 8th on your calendars. That's going to be the next legislative breakfast for the West Central Municipal Conference. That's Saturday morning. And that breakfast always takes place in Elmwood Park at Elmcrest. Commissioners, I think you all know that I attended a global mayor's summit last week in Cape Town, South Africa. I was honored to represent Forest Park. I found it very enlightening. There was an incredible level of networking. I met mayors from Europe, both Western Europe and Central Europe, mayors from South Asia, India, Africa, the Middle East, specifically East Africa and South Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, Malawi, countries in Central Europe like Northern Macedonia. About a year ago, we entertained the idea of forming a sister city relationship with a community called Vlore, Albania. So I met some Albanian mayors, the mayor of Pristina, which is the capital of Kosovo, which is an ethnic enclave populated by Albanians, as well as another mayor from an Albanian town. And when I showed these men the picture of Flamur Mamaj, who was the political leader of the delegation that visited Forest Park a couple of years, both of these mayors knew him. Personally, they recognized him, and they informed me that he was a general and their military, and he was a really respected general. So, it's interesting how all these circles can connect. And so the focus of the summit was on governance, on maintaining social cohesion, on strategies for engagement, and getting various populations to participate in governance. And the idea is prevention, right? It's countering hate, countering extremism. So it's effective ways to engage populations. And what I found is that in some of these developing countries, they use social media systems like WhatsApp the same way we use Facebook groups. There's mass organizing through WhatsApp. And many of the communities participating in strong cities are characterized by having dealt with adversity. Some are dealing with mass migrations, and those migrations result in xenophobia, sometimes rioting. Some of these communities have very severe gang issues. Some of them have experienced mass shootings, not unlike Forest Park. They knew what happened here last Labor Day, the CTA train shooting. And it's really interesting to hear how some of these mayors deal with these issues. You heard mayors from Central Europe talking about how to reintegrate returning ISIS fighters into their communities, right? And so it's very interesting work. And what I see is also interesting is that for years, Forest Park, we're a relatively small community. Most of the cities were much larger, but we have some of the same issues because of, transportation that comes through our town, the proliferation of guns, in our society. But for a long time, it was just fine for Forest Park to participate in WCMC and nothing else. But we're coming to a different stage in our development. And so Forest Park is a very known community. I think people want to hear from us. And I think there's things that we can learn from other communities. So I'm saying this to encourage my colleagues here on the board, to participate in some of these wider networks. I expect that in January, we'll probably have the first vice president of the National League of Cities come to Forest Park to talk to us about the value proposition associated with joining National League of Cities. So his name is Steve Patterson. He's the mayor of Athens, Ohio. He was part of our group in South Africa. And Steve is an experienced 4-term mayor. His town has dealt with, hate groups marching through and trying to have a platform in that community. But what I'm trying to say is there's lots to learn from these other leaders. And the same benefits that you may see in going to Springfield and doing the networking that we've done traditionally with a group like WCMC. And then some of the newer relationships that we've developed through a newer, but also very local, very regional group like C4, right? Imagine, dealing with mayors from across the country or councilmen and councilwomen from across the country. Because it wasn't just mayors, there were also department heads and in some cases, commissioner or trustee or counselor level participants. So I wanted to give you all a pretty good understanding of the experience I had. And I thank the board for supporting me in the opportunity to go abroad and to participate in the summit. And having said that, I'll close my report and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yes, sir. Nero will make that motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Nero. Is there a second? Okay, it's seconded by Commissioner Maxim. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Rogovin,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt, Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. We are adjourned. Happy holidays.